The imposing facade of Northwood Academy loomed over Maya Jenkins that Tuesday morning, its stone gargoyles seemingly observing her silent arrival. 18 years old, clutching a worn backpack, she stepped onto the damp pavement, a stark contrast to the polished, privileged world within. No welcoming committee, just a cursory glance from a security guard, reinforcing the unspoken message. She was an outsider. Inside the bustling reception, students laughed and embraced, a vibrant tapestry she felt excluded from. Maya kept her gaze fixed on the Northwood Academy for Leadership and Advancement plaque, its gleaming portraits of pale, bright-eyed alumni mirroring the exclusive atmosphere. The harried receptionist barely acknowledged her, quickly shifting attention to a legacy student, a board member's son. Maya's second-hand blazer felt stiff, ill-fitting, it seems awkwardly drooping. Her old, polished shoes clicked too loudly on the pristine floors, a stark reminder of her difference. Passing a group of perfectly coiffed girls, she caught their dismissive glance, a silent agreement that she didn't belong. In literature class, room 204, she chose a middle seat, hoping to blend in. No one sat beside her. The empty chair became a silent testament to her isolation. When the teacher, Ms. Evans, read a passage about others in colonial literature, Maya felt a subtle shift in the room. A few heads turned, their gazes fleeting but palpable. When questions were asked, Maya raised her hand, but Ms. Evans consistently bypassed her, choosing other students. By the end of class, Maya hadn't uttered a single word. Lunch was a cacophony of laughter and clanking trays. Maya, holding a simple sandwich, searched for a place to sit. She found a mostly empty bench facing a wall. Before she could eat, a cup of cranberry juice slid down the table, stopping inches from her sleeve. A girl at another table smirked. Maya, her appetite gone, silently wiped the juice, another small indignity absorbed. Biology brought a cold lab and a taciturn partner, Liam, who completed their assignment alone, ignoring her offers of help. The teacher, oblivious or indifferent, moved on. After school, at her locker, awkwardly placed between a wall and a recycling bin, she found a note. Don't smile too much. It makes people nervous. No name, no signature, just a chilling message. Walking out, she overheard two student council members whisper and laugh as she passed. The silence that followed her was not accidental. It was a deliberate, calculated absence. The unseen hand. The second week, the attacks escalated. On the student bulletin board, her photo appeared, unflattering and poorly lit, with the caption, Maya Jenkins, quiet but curious, altered in red pen to questionable. She saw it, blinked, and moved on, the feeling of smoke following her. Another note, tucked in her locker, read, You're not being ignored. You're being measured. Her hands trembled. In gym, her shirt went missing, replaced by a stained, stretched one. Laughter rippled through the class, though no one directly pointed. During warm-ups, she tripped, and her partner, Chloe, muttered something under her breath, offering no help. Later, her sneakers were found soaked and frozen in her locker, her socks missing. The library, a supposed sanctuary, became another stage for their cruelty. Lights flickered in her aisle, then stopped when she moved. A book held a note, Too smart to be safe. In art class, her self-portrait was vandalized with thick black slashes. The teacher simply offered a new canvas, no questions asked. Friday brought more rain and another locker incident. Gum and pencil lead jamming the lock. Her books were gone, replaced by crumpled papers from another student. At lunch, her usual spot was taken, forcing her to a wobbly table near the trash bins, where her tray was mysteriously marked with a mustard question mark. That evening, she told her mother she was just tired, clinging to her silence. But alone in her room, she began to document, Too smart to be safe, erasing her existence. The attacks intensified, targeting her very presence. A robotic voice, displaying her unflattering photo, announced her as an academic asset of Northwood, then listed false achievements, calling her the daughter of a famous civil rights attorney. before glitching to drama club bloopers. Laughter and sarcastic applause followed. At lunch, students tapped their utensils rhythmically as she passed, a synchronized top pizza top. Her English essay was stamped unoriginal content, deemed suspiciously advanced. At the annual Spirit Assembly, she was handed a sign that, unlike others reading "Welcome," defiantly proclaimed "Warning." The audience gasped, then laughed, but Maya held the sign until it was taken from her. In art class, her self-sculpture was replaced by a crude caricature with exaggerated features, a silent mockery. That week's team-building retreat saw her abandoned by her group during a scavenger hunt, her existence effectively erased. A final yellow slip confirmed, "You're the project. The school is watching." Monday brought a chilling escalation. Her locker, found slightly ajar, contained a mannequin wearing her clothes, its brown-painted head adorned with crudely drawn, exaggerated features, hunched and broken. Taped above it, "Now you can take the day off." No tears, no report. She walked away, counting to 100 in the restroom, her mind clear. This was systematic. Her name vanished from attendance sheets, computer logins failed with user profile not found, and during dismissal announcements, a lost personality was joked about. Mannequins appeared in hallways. One labeled placeholder instead of her name, a paper crown on its head. Her science lab notebook was replaced with blank pages, her name scribbled out with a slur. That night, she peered into the art room, seeing students sculpting a mannequin head in her likeness, its mouth smeared with black paint like a gag. This wasn't just cruelty. It was an attempt to define and publicly display their twisted version of her. The reckoning. Her own transformation began. She chose a simple, unadorned jacket, no school crest. Her walk to school was quiet, but her inner world had shifted. She was no longer small. At the administrative office, her requests for grades and schedules were met with blank screens and system updates. In her backpack, she carried a thick file. Every note, every fake form, every altered assignment, every name quietly recorded. Her silence had been observation, not surrender. At lunch, the taunts faded, her silence offering no fuel. But the real test came in gym class during a self-defense unit. When the coach asked for volunteers, Ethan Clark, a senior football player known for pushing boundaries, chose Maya. He grabbed her wrist too hard, too fast, a show of dominance. But Maya didn't flinch. She pivoted, dropped her weight, and slipped free, pressing a steady hand against his chest. He stumbled, stunned. The gym went silent. No jokes, no applause, just a shift. The coach nodded with respect. Maya returned to her place, calm, grounded, unreadable. In the locker room, her things were untouched. Even Chloe, who'd once vandalized her towel, now watched with caution. In the halls, glances no longer carried mockery, but calculation. Her email returned, her grades restored. No one admitted fault, but fear had bloomed. Someone behind the scenes realized she wasn't just surviving, she was watching. Maya began documenting everything: dates, names, timelines. She wrote to the school board, attaching evidence, detailing events without bitterness or names. Her voice, quiet but factual, weighed more than any accusation. Her routine stayed the same, but her presence felt heavier. She wasn't loud. She didn't need to be. The system adjusted. Her AP class is reinstated. Teachers used her name now, not out of respect, but out of unease. The cruelty hadn't stopped. It had mutated. Surveillance replaced sabotage. People whispered not about what she had done, but how. Ethan never returned to gym. Rumors swirled. Embarrassment, warnings. Chloe's confidence cracked, her circle shrinking. A teacher resigned. The librarian issued a rare apology. Northwood avoided the word racism, but changed policies quietly. More equity, more transparency. A TA student town hall. Others spoke up, admitting past silence. When Maya was asked to speak, she declined. Her silence had become its own language. She wasn't the bandage. They were still bleeding from the truth she'd forced them to face. She walked home under an open sky. Not triumphant, but clear. In her journal, she wrote, "Survival wasn't about invisibility, but learning how to be seen on her own terms. Systems erased with smiles, but she had learned how to document truth. By semester's end, the school felt different, its quiet machinery exposed. Maya hadn't fought for revenge. She fought for recognition, for a shift in the current. She joined the literary journal, mentored others, her presence a calm force. Her detailed file stayed in her desk, not as a weapon, but a record. A reminder, systems healed only when watched. When she was nominated for a Perseverance Scholarship, she declined. She refused to let survival be turned into spectacle. She asked it be given to someone else. On her final day, she opened her locker. Where once a mannequin had mocked her, only her name tag remained, peeling but intact. Just her name. She stepped into the sunlight, the wind tugging at her jacket. She didn't look back. She didn't need to. She had reshaped the story, not with noise, but with endurance. Justice, she realized, wasn't always loud. Sometimes it was something you became,